Hello everyone and welcome to the 7th installment of the Turf Battles New Client Development Diaries. Um, so last week we kind of took a brief look at the rest of the transformation skills that were added, as well as introduced the um, instance system rework. And just to start off today's update, we're just going to kind of piggyback off of the update that we had 2 weeks ago. Um, and by that I mean we're just going to be showing off how you're actually going to be learning the new apprentice skills and trans skills. So this is just a character I just made, and if you've already noticed, we've added an NPC to the middle of Latianus called Keel, and right above his head it just says Apprentice Skills. This is the NPC that you're pretty much going to be using to learn your apprentice skills, no matter what class you are. Right now we have only Keel in Lad, but we will look into adding another one to Veros, just so that there's one in both maps, and possibly even I was thinking East Lad, but that might already be too high of a level zone. So maybe just Veros and Lad. But to get started, you just click him like any other NPC, and these are your options. If you're kind of new to the game and you're not sure what apprentice skills are, there's a brief description of what these skills are, what they can do, and that kind of, and how much they cost, or how you can get them. Just quickly, the last sentence of this text says that you can find windflowers by killing champion monsters. But other monsters also drop them. You guys haven't actually been introduced to champion monsters yet. They're basically, I think I've mentioned this, but they're basically going to be little mini bosses for various different groups of monsters. Um, so it'll be like one monster that looks a bit bigger and a bit different from the base version of that monster. And they'll have higher HP, higher damage, but also have more valuable loot tables, including a higher percentage drops for windflowers. Um, they're very similar in concept to the empowered monsters, but empowered aren't quite mini bosses. Um, okay, so if you want to learn them, basically you have to come to this NPC with a bunch of windflowers. I've already added a bunch to my inventory. Um, and then you just choose what class you are and what skill you want to learn, just like you would for Masters in Trans. I'm a archer, so I'm going to choose archer, and I'll learn Distress Arrow. And then just to show you guys, I don't have anything learned yet, but I'm going to choose to learn Distress Arrow level 1. And again, it's showing this brief description of what the skills do. And just again, you have to confirm that you want to purchase that skill. So as soon as I bought it, I got access to just Distress Arrow level 1. And you can try and buy a higher one without being able to use it, but it's not going to work. So it's saying you must have it already at level 9 to learn this skill. So that's basically just using the same code that we have in place for uh, transformation and master books, where you have to pretty much have the previous book before you can get the new one, or else you're going to get those errors. Um, I'm not going to get all 10, but I'll do a variety of some just to show you guys that it is working. And we'll do level 3 as well. So there you go. I have level 5, level 2, and level 3 apprentice skills now. Um, I didn't get a chance to show you guys the cost, so I'll show that really quick. It says in the description, level 1 is going to cost 10 windflowers, level 2 is 20, level 3 is 30, level 4 is where it starts to amp up a bit. Level 4 requires 80, level 5 requires 100, level 6 requires 120, level 7 requires 210, level 7, level 8 requires 240, level 9 360, and level 10 requires 500. Something you might have already noticed is there's no trans books actually being given to you, or sorry, apprentice books. The apprentice skills don't use books, you just learn them directly from the NPC in exchange for windflowers. Something you may have already noticed is that an additional comment on the windflowers is that it says to use this item to purchase items, speak to Shelly Shine. We haven't added the NPC yet, but the idea behind that NPC is you'll be able to buy low-level items that already have stats assigned to them. This was in the area games version of Turf Battles, and we think it was a nice little way to allow players to kind of gear up if they aren't able to go through the island system. Moving forward, I wanted to show you guys the trans books. Basically, we're just doing the exact same way that you would do the trans skills right now. We just added those to the trans NPC. So if you go to Delfroth Floor 2, we have to talk to Pia and purchase, and then we're an archer again. So right now you can already see I can already purchase the acrobatic skill book, which is the new trans skill for archers. So we'll go ahead and buy one. And it costs the same amount as the other trans skills. So there's nothing new really there except that it was added to the NPC. And I don't have enough for that item, so of course I couldn't buy it. I'm actually going to pause the video right here just so I can get those items so I can buy it to show you guys. Okay, so I've added those items. So I'm just going to hit buy and it should take 3 of each. And it did. Something else that we've spent actually a significant portion of time on was just kind of going over all the localization revolving around the transformation skills, as well as the apprentice skills. We haven't done the master skills yet, but that's on the to-do list. It's just a very time-consuming process, just because what a transformation skill does is referenced in a variety of different ways. It's referenced when you look at a skill book, it's referenced when you look at the skill itself, it's referenced in an NPC, it's referenced in different NPC dialogue options. So we just kind of went over all that and made sure that all the descriptions are correct and do reflect the current status of the skill. Something that we did notice was that some skills were left behind in the past, in the sense that if we made changes to that skill, the description of, say, the skill for the skill book was outdated. So we just adjusted that and gave more accurate descriptions. So you can already see that with the skill book. It tells you exactly how long the skill lasts, what percentage is taken, and how often it does occur, which is every second. And just to show you that the skill books do work, may as well use it. Sorry about that, folks. We actually found out there that the acrobatic skill book hadn't been programmed. So we did look at the other skills really quick while we fixed that, but the rest were there. It was just the acrobatic that was missing. But now if we use it, we've learned it, and it's been increased by 1 level. And again, I'm just going to go through a couple just to show that it works. We'll just stop at level 5. 3, 4, 5. And we don't have poison arrow yet, so we can't learn level 10, of course. But it's there, and they are all usable. Of course, acrobatic requires transformation, so I have to transform. And there's the skill debuff, or the skill buff. Okay, moving on. The next thing that we've kind of been working on, it's actually a group of things revolving around the way that players can spend their turf cash and e-coins. specifically when it comes to buying them off the website. So up until now, the way that you would purchase Turf Cash would be you would go on the website, you would buy it, you'd get disconnected from the game, then you'd have to restart your client, log back in, and then go pick it up at your mailbox. We've changed it so that you no longer need to log off. You won't have to get disconnected, and it just gets sent directly to your mailbox and is accessible right away. So the turf cache that's already in here was from a couple previous attempts. I just went ahead and accepted them, um, just so we can have a clear stash for when we try this. Um, but basically, right now it's empty. This is the new item mailbox UI, by the way. I'm not sure if we've shown it off in the past yet. But basically, I'm going to go ahead and open up the tool that actually does send the item to your mailbox when you use the website. Uh, and what you'll see is right here on the bottom left corner, you'll get a message that says that you've received an item. So there it is. It says you've received 10 turf cash in your mailbox. If I open my mailbox, I have the 10 turf cash. And if I do it again, currently we just have it set to send 10 turf cash, so that's all we'll really be able to show you guys. But there's another message, and there's another 10 turf cash. So again, this will be able to be used as soon as the new client is out, so players won't need to get disconnected anymore, which is probably something that we think is very convenient for most players. And it's been actually suggested in the past before, but it did require a substantial amount of changes to the inventory system, which we had already done. So this change specifically now was a lot easier to make. Moving on, the next thing that we have to show off is this NPC over here that we've renamed Gloria. And in the current live server, she is a nostalgic NPC that used to be for hairdressing or changing your hairstyle. Um, we've actually recycled this NPC and made it so that it's your character designer NPC. And just to follow suit with the changes that we've made for the mailbox system, where you don't get disconnected specifically, we've added the name change, the hairstyling, and the gender change perks to the game so that you don't do it through the website anymore. What happens is you just buy directly within the game for Turf Cash or a change coupon for whichever option you'd like, and then you can just do it directly in game. Something you guys might already be asking is what if I have a free name change perk on the website, or a hair change perk on the website, or a gender change perk on the website? Don't worry, that stuff already transfers over automatically. And so, for example, if you had a name change on the website, it's now in the game and it's called a name change coupon. Um, so that'll be able to be viewed either on this window or specifically on the interfaces that open up when you try to perform each action. So the first thing I'm going to show you guys is the hair change. This is a little new UI that we've made where you can change your character's hair color and hairstyle and actually see the changes, how they would look in game. So those right there were missing hairstyles. We added some to the original client, and they haven't been ported over to this version yet, but they'll be able to be viewed eventually. But basically, we have all 10 hairstyles, minus those 3 for the Nephilim, and the humans have all 10 already. So basically, we choose a hair color or a hairstyle. I'm going to go ahead with choose this one. And then you can change your color by adjusting the red, green, and blue values. If you guys know anything about color codes, they're basically a hexadecimal value, and each one represents a red, green, or blue value. And when you combine those, you can change it to have different colors. So just as an example, if I click and hold down, you can start to see that my hair color does start to change. Right there is getting more brown. Now it's starting to get black. And now it's starting to get green because green is now the highest value. And it went back to 255. So, and then if we set everything to 0, that gives us a black color. And again, blue. So it's kind of cool, especially because some colors didn't appear the way that they looked like on the website, whereas now they will. Um, just as an example, if I change my hair right now, it's going to cost me either 20 turf cash or one hair change coupon. I have a hair salon coupon, so I'm just going to go ahead and click yes, and that should have went down to 3. It was at 4 before, which it did, and my turf cash didn't change at all. But just to show you, oh, I'm in trans. Let me get out of trans to show you guys. Just to show you, my hair did change there. It's black now. If I go and try to do it again, let's do, I'll do this hairstyle, and I'll make it all green. Change hair, and there you go, it's all green. Actually, that goes really well with this armor set. So yeah, that's a pretty cool feature that we added. Moving on, we then have the name change perk, which again, it costs 50 turf cash, which is the equal conversion from 50 Ionic coins, which is the cost on the website currently. So basically, it's just telling you here that they can change your name. It's telling you you have 0 name change coupons right now, and then asking if you'd like to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and change my name. My name is currently Shock Dot, so I don't know, let's make it Sunny. Okay, so I got a message down here saying your name can be changed. Please relog for the changes to apply. Unfortunately, like the class change perk for name changes, class changes, and as you'll see in a second, gender changes, you do have to relog for the change to take effect. That's just unavoidable because of how the game manages to store your information and display your character. But you can already see after I relog that my name is now Sunny. And then just to show you guys that some names won't work, of course. Something that's not allowed in names is spaces. So I added 3 spaces there, and it says it's an invalid character name. Similarly, if you try to add symbols, it's not valid. It's not allowed. And as well, if you try to change your name to something offensive, of course, it won't be allowed. And then finally, we have the gender change. And again, that's 20 turf cash, direct equivalent to the eCoin cost on the website. And I have 0 change coupons right now. If I click change gender, now it says your gender has been changed. Please relog for the changes to apply. Something you'll notice here, because I am changing my gender, something that will automatically change is my hairstyle. Currently I have this male ponytail version, but if I relog, I should have a different gender as well as a different automatically generated hairstyle, which I do. And just the way that the hairstyle is chosen, it just basically gives you the exact counterpart to the hairstyle you had. So I think I had hairstyle 6. No, I had hairstyle 7. So it gave me the female version of hairstyle 7, which is this one. Okay. So one last thing that I did want to note that we have been working on, and it was finished, was the buff icons that I mentioned in previous, I think 2 or 3 updates ago. It just took us a while to get them all pointed directly to the right icons, while at the same time working on everything else. But if I was to go ahead and start an instance, for example, in the previous video you weren't able to see the cooldown icons, but now you will. So I'll go ahead and pause the video just so I could start that. Okay, so I went ahead and started it. I just hit create instance. Might as well do level 5 or level 4. And I've started the instance, and now you can see that there is the buff icon there, or the debuff icon in this case. So all those were added. We might come upon one or two that aren't pointed directly just because of the different versions between this client and the previous client, but those are easy fixes now that this is implemented, so no worry about that. Um, that's all we have for today. I know that today was mostly just kind of cleaning up and doing kind of quality of life changes for um, existing content, but those are things that go a long way in terms of keeping players happy. And that's why we felt the need to do things revolving around the mailbox system and the hair change and gender change, and just making it easier to do them rather than having to go through a whole process of having to log in and log out and get disconnected and then be able to collect your items. Anyways, so I hope everyone enjoyed the video, and we'll see you all again in 2 weeks.